you said something that set my mind a little bit in a different direction. Um, Thinking about the lies that we believe and how we'll cling to them, we'll hold
Mhm.
on to them,
Mhm.
and it reminded it reminded me of the subject of demon possession.
Mhm.
People talk about demon possession and they're so afraid of demon possession. And I learned so long ago that the understanding the modern church and modern believers have on demon possession is absolutely incorrect. But it's obvious. You look at people, and if that's what you've been taught, that they could be possessed by a demon, then that's what pops into your mind. This person's demon possessed.
Mhm.
Um, I do believe in demon possession, but not like anybody I know. C.S. Lewis understood demon possession the way that I understand it.
Mhm.
You can see it clearly in his book, The Great Divorce. Um, Demons cannot possess, they cannot inhabit, and they can't possess a human being, but a human being can possess a demon. And that's what demon possession is when people possess their demons.
Mhm.
And it can be in the form of lies. It can be in the form of false information, fake information.
Yeah.
And people possess that stuff. And when they possess it, it controls them. But not because it's in control of their life, but because they've possessed it and they live their life in accordance with what they've possessed. They live their life in accordance to what is important to them, to what they believe is true. And anyway, that's when you were saying that, that came to mind. I thought, why not introduce that subject? That could disturb some people that are listening to this, but there's some people the light just came on. Wait a minute. Demon possession isn't the demon possessing me, it's me possessing the demon. Well, I don't want to possess a demon. There's then that you're on the track. If you're possessing a demon right now that you don't want to possess, we'll get into how to unpossess. It has to do with unlearning, the
Mhm.
Unlearning Channel, and
Mhm.
it's marvelous. I guess in a sense, all those years when my family was walking on eggshells around me, I was possessing knowledge, understanding about myself and about life that was wrong. But
Mhm.
I was holding on to that knowledge. And because I was holding on to that knowledge, I was living like it was true. And everybody around me was suffering the effects of it, which in the effects oftentimes, mostly what I remember now that I think about it, my family would say I wasn't there. Now, I'm
Mhm.
not sure that was the walking on eggshells, but
Mhm.
I wasn't there. I was in another world. It was business and work and labor and trying to do the things that would make me important.
Mhm.
I never believed I was important. I never believed that I was worth loving. Even though I had a wonderful family that loved me, to me, I wasn't valuable. I wasn't worth loving. And that's changed now. I know how valuable I am to God. I know how worth loving I am because He loved me enough to give His Son.
Mhm.
So I'm pretty valuable. So
Yeah.
are you. And so
Yeah.
is everybody listening to this.
Yeah. Everybody. Absolutely everybody. I remember the moment that I've heard the cliche saying, if you were the only person on earth, Jesus would still come and die for you. And I remember,
I've heard that. I always wondered about that.
yeah. And
I understand it now, but I did.
I like I absolutely understand it and believe it now. I, it doesn't know when it hit me, it was one of the best days of my life, but that's been years ago now. And so I haven't got the exact same excitement, which is sad, we want to have that excitement, which we can, and we talk about that too. We've talked about, or we will talk about how the stuff that God's given us is present all the time. It's always available. It's never, He's
He
gonna
never
give it
takes it
again.
away.
What's that?
He never takes away an
Yeah,
opportunity or a blessing. What
no,
happens is that we don't take it. It's there,
right.
always waiting for. If God's
Yeah,
offered it, it's always ours, but we may not take it, may not know how to take it.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And so when it made sense in me that I was valuable enough that if I were the only person on earth that needed saving, he would have done the exact same thing. That was, yeah, incredibly powerful. Before that, I I didn't buy it. I just thought, well, it's that verse, God so loved the world.
Hmm.
You, you go, okay, well, if he loves the whole world, then he doesn't really love me. He just loves the whole world,
Oh yeah,
you
yeah.
know? Um,
Gotcha.
but he does, it's each of us, just like kids, like I don't run out of it for each of my children. I don't say, well, I spent 70% of it over on this one, so I've only got 30% left for the other ones. Um, I say, no, you all can get 100. You can all get 100%. And that's what God feels towards us. Every single one of us gets 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I had no idea about that. I couldn't believe it. Something was blocking me from it. And I forget what caused me to be unblocked from it, but I just remember it hitting me one day. I mean, knowing that he loved me already and that I was very important to him, and that saying came into my mind. If you were the only person on earth, Jesus still would have come and died just for you. And it popped in my head, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, he would have." Like that's an incredible thing. Not
Yeah.
even just incredible. I mean, I was beyond, it wasn't humbled. I mean, I guess, but I was loved. I was loved. Like, I, it's not a theological thing. It's a, it's an experiential. And yeah, I mean, it's somebody going and saying, you're the one that matters a great deal to me. Not everybody, everybody does, but like you're the one. And golly, that's a game changer. That's such a big deal. And it provides a lot of security, just like my son felt with the divorce, how it just rocked him because he couldn't fathom how a safe, loving environment that was populated with a dad who was just 100% in on him and his siblings and his mom, that it could fall apart.
Yeah.
That it was just so it was, I mean, it was a good and a bad thing in a weird way. And I think we all struggle with that, even maybe people who recognize that God is good or loves them or whatever. When there's a hard thing, they're just almost caught off guard, like, well, and that causes some confusion in people. I think it can. They go, well, wait a second, I thought he loved me. Why is this happening then?
Yeah.
um
Yeah. We can get into that subject. That's a major subject that you and I haven't spent a lot of time talking about. But if God is love, then why does this happen? And why does that happen? And
that perception, how we're like, well, wait, it's not like, oh, why bad things happen to good people, or if God was loving, then why is the world a mess or something.
yeah,
But there that piece where like you even knowing your dad loves you, when things crumble, there's that that cognitive dissonance of, and that's where I think Satan jumps in.
Yeah,
He goes,
yeah.
see, he doesn't love you.
We're moving into the subject of realities.
Mm,
It's a subject today that the word is used increasingly. Two people can be looking at the exact same thing at the exact same time and yet see two different things.
yeah.
A car accident, two people see the car accident and they both have different perspectives of what happened.
Hmm.
And you wonder how can that be? You and I saw the same thing, but we didn't see the same thing. We were looking in the same direction at the same event, and
Mm,
yet what stood out to you or what happened from your perspective is totally different from what I think happened.
yeah.
How do you deal with that? I mean, what causes that?
Yeah.
We all see things differently. No matter what it is, nobody sees the exact same thing the exact same way.
Hmm.
And you wonder about it. Have you ever been looking for something and you've looked for it and you've looked for it and you've looked for it and you gave up and then come back and look for it and you finally find it right where you looked the first time.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
remember years ago we were driving down a road in Telluride, Colorado, and we're looking for a sign, and we're driving along, and we can't find it. And I thought it's got to be there, and I turned around, and we went down the same road again, and this time the sign was there, and I thought, strange. It was there, then it wasn't there, and then it was there. And I thought, this is really strange.
Mhm.
But I realized that what was controlling what I saw was what I was expecting. And I had been expecting one thing, and because I was expecting one thing, this sign to look a certain way, when I looked directly at the sign, it wasn't what I was expecting, so it didn't exist. I
Mhm.
couldn't even see it. And when we circled back around and we're driving down the road real slowly looking, and suddenly there's the sign right where I had looked before.
Mhm.
But because I was expecting a certain thing, it it didn't look like what I expected, so I couldn't even see what I was looking for. And it was right there in front of me.
Mhm.
Um, it's amazing how what we think we know, whether we know it or not, doesn't matter. If we think we know it, then we know it. And
Mhm.
if what we know we believe is true, that determines what we expect. And what we expect in absolute terms determines what we see and don't see, hear and don't hear, feel and don't feel, experience and don't experience. The Bible's filled with this subject. However, the word that is in the Bible that the Bible uses and the way it's translated prevents us from really realizing what this subject is. It's the subject is hope. The
Mhm.
Bible is full of hope. The
Mhm.
trouble is the word that is elpides in the Greek. That's the way I pronounce it. Others may pronounce it differently, but we all spell it the same.
Mhm.
The word elpides actually means expectation, and the verb would mean to expect. And this is a critical subject because what we expect determines what we see and what we don't see. And our expectations are going along and they're going around in the background of our thinking constantly. We don't even know what's really happening in our minds.
Mhm.
But expectations then affect what we see and what we don't see. And so you've got a number of things. First of all, knowledge. Is the knowledge we have true knowledge or is it fake knowledge? Fake knowledge is just knowledge that only exists in somebody's mind. A lie is fake knowledge
Mhm.
because a lie is something that isn't real. It's not real.
Mhm.
It's made up.
Mhm.
But it nevertheless, when somebody believes a lie or believes fake knowledge that may come to them not in the form of a lie, but in the form of ignorance.
Mhm. Mhm.
Somebody just tells them something because that's what they think and they know, and it's not true. But
Mhm.
they tell somebody else who says, "Oh, well, gee, I didn't know that," and they had no thoughts to contradict what they're told. So, well, I've heard this, and that's true. And
Mhm.
so, what we know, and then what we determine that is true, we believe it, then that determines our expectations, which determines how we experience life. But all of that fits into why different people see the same thing, but yet don't see the same thing. They see something totally different,
Mhm.
or they expect something totally different. It's a massive subject, and the Bible's about this, but from my reading of translations, since I've read many translations and since I have a profound understanding of ancient Greek, um, the Bible's full of the subject, but I have never yet to this day uh, talked with anybody or heard anybody speak about this subject in any depth.
Mhm.
Um, it's touched on all the time by people.
Mhm.
Um, they touch about the things that I talk about are talked about by everybody. And in fact, I tell this to people all the time. There's nothing I can tell you that you don't already know.
Mhm.
Leave you. There's nothing I can tell you that you don't already know. I know that because God said He wrote His instruction in our hearts and our minds. So
Mhm.
everything we need to know has been written inside of us. We've got it.
Mhm.
That's not the problem. The problem is all the things that we know that we think are true but aren't. And we don't know that this and that. In fact, we don't even it's such a massive subject. We don't know what we know. And so, if we know things that are not true, oftentimes we don't know it because it's an assumption in us that it's true and we never consider it further. Yet,
Why would you question it?
why would you question it? Yet that knowledge we've grabbed a hold of, we've possessed, as we were talking about earlier,
Mhm.
we've possessed that knowledge, and having possessed that knowledge controls everything about our lives. And when you are willing to uh, have what you know challenged, it can be wonderful. Now,
Mhm.
sometimes what you know is true, and you can have that challenged. I love for people to challenge me. I love for people to tell me I'm wrong. Okay,
Mhm.
if I'm wrong, how am I wrong? Explain it to me because I might be wrong. And if I'm wrong, I want to know it.
Right.
And because I know the benefit of finding out that you're wrong. Most people are terrified to find out they're wrong. People have to be right. Their identity is based on being right. My identity is not being is not based on right. If I'm wrong, I want to know it, and I want to know what to replace the wrongness that I have.